and welcome to Everyone Can Jam. This is a place where everyone can learn to play guitar, but you're not going to get very far if you hurt yourself. And I think it's so important for us to learn how to do this without getting hurt, especially since a lot of us are my age and older. The older we get, it gets easier to have injuries. When you're a teen or 20s, you can play with poor technique and bad habits, and you can get away with that for quite a while, but later on those things catch up with us, and so a lot of comments have to do with pain and injury. So we're going to spend some time, and there's a lot of things I can say that help us to avoid pain and injury. So I try to think of what, like, if I could only tell you one thing, what would it be? There's many things I've learned over the years, but the main thing that eluded me for many years actually was just how to relax often. This is going to be a two-part lesson about relaxation. First, I want to focus on relaxing the left hand, and then I want to focus on relaxing the rest of the body. The amazing thing is, well, actually, this is why I say the harp gave me back my hands. When I was a classical guitar student, I injured myself with some poor technique and some bad habits, had surgery, did physical therapy, got a bit better, but only just so much better, and there were things I thought I would never be able to do again. What I did not realize is I hadn't learned to relax often. And I had a few things to learn about technique too. But when I started learning to play the harp, I was fortunate to have a teacher who taught me that harpists relax after every stroke. Every single stroke, you relax your hand completely. And without doing that, there will certainly be injury, and you won't get very far, and you won't be able to play very well either. So I learned that we can actually relax instantly and completely, and we can do that very frequently. And then I started working on translating that into playing the guitar. So what I'm going to suggest for today, and this is something, there are many ways that learning to play the harp gave me back my hands, but we'll get to that later. Today I just want to talk about the fact that you can relax often. And what I want to work on today is just relaxing. We have a tendency, because we want these chords to sound nice, one way of getting them to sound nice is to squeeze harder, but let me also say, another way to get them to sound nice is to get your fingers closer to the fret. Our pictures are drawn, let me show you a picture, kind of like this with the dot in the middle, but that's really not where you want your fingers to go. If I was making a D, I wouldn't be in the middle, I would be close to the frets. And when you're close to the frets, you don't have to squeeze as hard. When you don't squeeze as hard, you're not going to have as much tension, you're not going to have as much pain and injury. So, for example, on a C chord, I would want my fingers close to the frets here. That means I don't have to squeeze so hard, but we have a tendency, if there's a buzz, to just squeeze with all our might. There's a lot of tension. And then when we go to switch chords, there's still tension in our hands. So say I'm switching to G. I can keep that tension in my hands when I'm switching. But what I've learned is that even, say if I'm playing this chord, I can even relax during the chord sometime. But let's come back to that later. For today, let's just try to relax between chords. So say I'm playing a G chord. Right here between chords, I can relax instantly and completely. It takes some time to develop the skill of relaxing instantly and completely, but just like playing a note or a chord, you practice slowly first, and then you get better at it, and then eventually it becomes a habit. So this is how we're going to work on this habit of relaxing more often. G, you know what? I gotta tell you another reason why this is so important. It's like weightlifting. If most people are somewhat familiar with weightlifting, you're trying to strengthen your muscles, right? So you wouldn't go in there, say if you're doing curls, you wouldn't do 60 curls. You would maybe do 20, and then you rest, and then you do 20 more, and then you rest, and maybe 20 more. The reason we don't do 60 is because you need that rest, you need that relaxation in order for the muscles to get stronger. If you were to do, if you have constant tension and not occasional relaxation, then you make the muscles weaker. So the same thing applies here. And that's why this is so important. And this is, I'll get you started on practice, and then we'll talk a little bit more about changing habits. So this is a very common G shape. I'm going to make that G shape. You can make it that way or that way. It doesn't matter. So I'm making my G shape. There's tension. There's some squeezing. And then in my practice, I'm going to practice relaxing nice and slow, then make a C. And you can play any rhythm. That's not what we're focusing on now. And then when I go to my next chord, feel that relaxation complete. Take all the time you need to just feel. A relaxed hand looks like this. It doesn't look like this. It doesn't look like that. It looks soft and relaxed. And the fingers, if you were to lay your hand on a table and just relax, it would be a little bit curved like that. Okay? And then you could make a new chord. There's going to be some tension. And then before you go to your next chord, just treat it like one of the chords. Okay, here's the relaxed chord. Totally relaxed. Feel that feeling in your hand. Try to memorize it. Then make another chord. Feel it relaxed. Feel it relaxed. Feel it relaxed. And like a lot of things that you learn slowly at first, you can gradually speed it up. So what I'm going to suggest, since we're introducing, most people who've played for any time at all, you'll have a habit of holding tension in that left hand. And it's very difficult to change these habits. Well, no, I shouldn't say it that way. It can seem very difficult to change these habits. It's not difficult, it just takes time, and it takes a certain approach. You don't want to just forbid yourself to do it the old way. I think it helps a lot to, at the beginning of your practice, you want 5 or 10 minutes, or if you don't have long to practice, even 3 to 5 minutes. That is warm up and exercises, and that's where you change your habits. That's where you develop new skills and new habits. It's a lot easier to change your habits if there's no song at stake. So I want to show you, I'm going to put this on my free instruction page. This is with my local students. I use this to help them plan their practice. And we have one of these each week to help us stay focused on what we're working on. So, name, the date of the week or whatever. Trajectories, that's kind of like we try to have about 3 things that we're working on, a direction that we're going. But this is really the important thing for this lesson. A warm-up is something easy that you're either something easy or something you're already good at, so you can focus on things like technique, relaxation, tone. You can always use warm-up, and it's getting your fingers ready to play, but you're also kind of working in a direction of a new skill, such as relaxing. So I would say you could, what I just suggested with making your chord shapes and relaxing between each chord, you would want to put that in your practice plan either under warm-up or exercise. And so when you're playing warm-ups and exercises, that's why I say there's no song at stake. You're not actually playing a song. You're learning to move your body in a healthy way that is going to allow you to play your music better. And then after your warm-up and your exercise, then you play your music. And you can actually just, if you're not having serious sharp pain, you can just go on with life and play your music. And if you spend some time at the beginning of each practice working on this new habit, it will raise your awareness and gradually work its way into the music that you're playing. When you change a habit, it can also be very helpful to just really work on that habit with a new song. The old song is already habit, that's the way you play it. You can change your old songs too, but it can be very helpful just to learn a new song. And as you learn the new song, also learn to relax between each chord. And while we're at it, I'll just say often with warm-ups is something easy and exercise is more like a new skill. So first you would make this relaxation practice that I showed you. A warm-up, play a chord, relax, play another chord, relax. And then for an exercise, that's a little more challenging, but you want to do this for a week or so before you put the same thing in your exercises. So once you get a little bit more experience practicing the relaxing, then maybe the next week make it an exercise where you're doing it. Let me just give you a suggestion for after you do what I said for about a week, and you want to kind of make the next step, then you could do the same thing, but try to play something in time. Maybe 4 strokes. You can play any pattern you want. I'm just going to do 4 downs. See if you feel the relaxing. Maybe something slow to give you time to feel the relaxation. And maybe say the word relax. Relax. Remember the feeling. Relax. Relax. That would be a second step, maybe not right away. We're going to this is part 1. Part 2 will be more about relaxation in your whole body, and we're going to review how to work that into your practice so that you can make these changes without it being, practice should be fun and enjoyable. Tom Haney in his book, First Learn to Practice, says one of his big ideas is if you don't enjoy practice, change it until you do. So that's another thing we can talk about quite a bit, is how to make sure we're enjoying practice. And more about that in another lesson. Please, if you find these lessons helpful, remember to like and subscribe and share with other people. My website is in the description under this video, where you can get PDFs of this and other things that we use for our lessons. And I look forward to seeing you next time. Thanks. Bye.